Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Amy Edwards. I am a Platinum Consultant. I am Team Sunset, part of the Empire Travel Academy. Thank you for joining me here today. And we are going to talk about what you do when you get your first client. So, as we talk about a lot of times in the new agent orientation or the getting started guide, it's probably one of our most stressful moments because that's kind of when we're put in the spotlight. And a lot of times we don't have a lot of experience booking travel yet. But honestly, I find that your best training tools, I mean, you can take all the trainings, all day long, but I think your best training tools are when you have that real live information. When you have clients that give you that real data and make those real inquiries. You can then start to kind of feel what it feels like from start to finish. Of course, we have mock bookings. Those are really great tools to kind of learn the vendors and where to go. But when you actually have a client, it can be the most stressful, but also the most informative and the most helpful. The first thing I always want to say is take a deep breath and don't overthink it. When you get a phone call from a potential client or when you get an inquiry, you don't have to, get them a quote within an hour. Would it be nice if you could pop it up on your screen and get them a number right away? Yes. But you want to be open and honest with them. Set a time frame for your business. If you want to be a business that gets it within 24 hours or that returns it within 48 hours, that is absolutely a great. Just communicate that and stay in communication with your potential clients. You do not have to do it within 24 or 48 hours. In fact, some trips are pretty complex and it's going to be based on what kind of quotes that they want. Of course, I want to remind everyone when you're getting quotes, when you're working with clients, you can absolutely charge service fees to cover your time. A lot of new agents get a little bit frustrated because they're doing quotes, and sometimes people are just looking for a price. Sometimes, they have this dream that they want to go to a certain destination or they want to go with their family, and it costs a little more than they think it would. So you've spent a couple hours on it. And then if they don't book with you, it can be a bit discouraging. But remember and always think about all of the practice that gave you too. So that's beneficial because you learn a lot on completing bookings. I learn new things all the time doing quotes for my clients. And I absolutely love learning about different destinations and, different travel and different activities. Apologize if my voice is going in and out. I got to plug in my laptop here. So just a couple of things to kind of, keep in mind. One of the documents that I'm going to share with you has like a sample verbiage. We have some trainings on charging fees as a travel agent. So you can start thinking about that now. I usually tell my agents to get a little bit more experience before you start to do that. Make sure you're comfortable with the process first. But always make sure not to overthink it. Make sure you have your certification. So make sure you watch those 8 video modules in your back office and you have that complete. And also make sure you complete new agent orientation, which is what NAO is. It is really important to make sure that you have that completed and that you're starting to set up the foundation of your business. Whether you attend live, whether you watch the recorded version, you want to make sure that you've started to register for the vendors and you're starting to make sure that things are kind of coming together. You're of course still learning. When I first got started, I watched NAO live and then I went to the recording so that I could just pause, complete the step, and unpause. So I found that helpful for me. Understand in any of these trainings, What's helpful for the host of the training may not be something that works for you. So customize it how it works for you, and you can always, always ask for help. When you get a potential client, you'll hear this term quite often. You want to do what we call qualifying your client. And this is really important before you reach out and ask for help, because a lot of people, you know, that you may have a family member come to you and say, hey, I want to go to Mexico. How much is it? There are a lot of things that go into that research before you can give a price. So we can't just give somebody a price for Mexico. So you want to make sure you have all of the info before you go to your mentor or one of your leaders and ask for the basic getting started help. So a couple of ideas of how to qualify your client. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this screen really quick. See. All right, hold on just a second. I just got to get to my Google Chrome screen to share that with you. All right, so the first way, and I think one of the simplest ways to qualify your client, and of course we have quite a few trainings directly on how to do that. The first way that I like to walk you through is actually going to your EVO website, which you'll set up in the new agent orientation. On your EVO website, if you scroll down about halfway through, there's a vacation quote request option. And as a new agent, I highly, highly recommend that you go through and fill this out for yourself. You are going to click on the Plan Your Trip tool. And what this tool does is it walks your potential clients through a series of questions to help gather more information to make sure you're getting them a proper quote. So here's the basic information. Once, I don't know if I can click next without putting anything in there. I can't. All right, so we're just going to put just, I don't know if this is going to accept it. There we go. Your location detail. So for this one, we'll say, okay, they wanted to go to Mexico. What kind of vibe are you looking for? Romantic, kid and family friendly, off the beaten path, rest and relaxation. I like these other fields so you can get a little more detailed information. Beach and water activities, maybe some nightlife. You know, oceanfront, what kind of views are you looking for? And then your booking or party details. Do you need air? Do you need car rental? Do you want your meals included? Do you want those all-inclusive resorts? What is your budget? Now, this is a very important question. You do not want to get somebody a quote for $25,000 when their budget is $4,000. So make sure you're asking those budgets. I wish this had a few more options, but if you notice, it does say per person. So be really careful with that. Make sure that you're not getting them a $5,000 quote for 5 people when you could be getting a $25,000 quote. Of course, trip duration, what kind of resort preference, you know, rental cars. Keep going through. It's going to tell you who's going to be going. Now, this is going to give you an overall idea. I wish this was a little more detailed because, you know, you're going to want to know, is there 2 adults? Is there 2 children? Is there 2 children under 13 and 2 children 13 to 19? So those are important questions to know as well. So this gives you a really good basic. And then do they have a special occasion? So is it a birthday? Is it a family reunion? And then, of course, any final thoughts or notes. And then their email or their contact preference. And then once you click submit, or once they click submit, it's going to email you the answers to all of those questions. And that email is really nice because you can then use that email as a guide. If you happen to be talking to a potential client on the phone, you can start to build from that list of questions. So that's a really good way to gather information. Some agents and some leaders, you'll see we have a training for JotForm. JotForm is a really great way to create your own form, to actually put a whole bunch of questions into a link that you can share. Works a lot like a Google form, just to gather information. And that's a way you can customize it. And JotForm is free. Google Forms are free. And we have some training on those too. So make sure to watch out for those trainings, or get the recorded training link from your mentor. And then I also have a template that I will share with you. You can customize this in any way. As long as you have Canva, you just need the free version of Canva. We use Canva quite often for our training flyers. You can use it for quotes. There's so many mock bookings. You can use Canva for a lot of different things. But on here, you can see that it asks a lot of those questions, and you can come in here and fill these out. You can send a paper form. You can turn this into a fillable form if you are, somebody who likes to do things like that, or really tech savvy. So it's going to walk you through a lot of those questions to get a lot of those details, just like your website link did. The nice thing about this is on page 2, you're going to have some pre-planning details and after the trip details. So here are the payments that you can track. Your administrative checklist. Did you get your credit card authorization form? Did they purchase travel insurance? Have you completed your commission tracking form?
Hi, Amy. I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So, on the qualifying your client form, I
Yep.
would like to definitely get that template, but I can find that on Canva, but do I save that and download that? I can add that to my website page?
So you can't add it to your Evo page, but you could add it to a personal website or even
Okay,
your social media.
got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and this is a form that I created, so I don't think you can search for it on Canva, but I'm going to send you the link to it, and
Perfect.
then you can save it as your own, because I have it
Thank
set up
you.
so where you can't edit it, but you can save it as your own.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. And actually, I usually do the template so that you can edit your own version. So I'll put that link in the chat box. Make sure you save that to your notes on your phone, or open that up in Canva, and then just save a copy. So everybody should have that link. And then, as I said, the service fees, I have a little paragraph down here. I know it's kind of hard to see on the screen, but if something that you can start to introduce, maybe you want to do, $25 per quote. Some people say you'll get that back. If you complete the booking, you could get that $25 back. It just kind of encourages people to make sure they're open and honest with you. If they're just, price surfing, you don't have to go into as much details. You can give general prices. But if they really, really want to go on this trip and they know their dates and they're serious about booking, I have never had anyone have a problem, making sure I'm compensated for my time. So remember, it's your business. You can completely run it how you would like to. So you're going to set your own guidelines, your own service fee amounts. And if you don't want to use service fees, you absolutely don't have to. Okay, so next on
I'm
our,
sorry, Amy, one more question before you go
okay,
ahead. So, I wanted to ask you before, it was the vacation quote request. I know that you said something about that as travel agents, we should fill one out too. But, our clients as well?
yeah, absolutely. Yep,
So it'll be
I
for,
usually just say you fill it out so you know the questions that are asked. In case your potential clients have questions, you would have been through that screen before because you don't want to say, oh, I've never used it. I don't know what's on.
got it, right, right, yep, true.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get back to that screen. All right, so once you have that information from your clients, you want to get as much information as you can. You'll likely have to call them back to get some additional information, but you don't want to keep calling back, oh, I forgot to ask you who is going. Oh, I forgot to ask you what your budget is. Oh, I forgot to, check the ages. You want to try to get as much information as you can right up front. Um, to get as far as you can. Of course, you're going to have to go back and forth a little bit. There's going to be some customization that you are going to need to do. And then remember, don't overthink it. Don't start scouring the internet yet. Um, Reach out to your mentor. Get help with your first few bookings. If your mentor is not available, reach out to your gold or your platinum leader. Someone is always there to help you. We have those Q&As. It's hard to do a full booking on a Q&A. It's hard, especially if it's your first booking. So a lot of times we will refer you back to your mentor because sometimes it does take a full hour. And so a lot of times we don't have time on the Q&As, but you can get some really good ideas from there. But get with someone who can help you. One of the biggest mistakes that new agents make is they book on the sites that are for the general public. When you book on the sites like directly through Expedia instead of Expedia Tap, you don't get commission. So you're going to reach out to your mentor after you have all your clients' information, and they're going to help you to get started. Now, they may not walk through the booking start to finish with you, but they're going to give it to you in steps. Look here, see, get started here. And then once you get to the point of figuring out what the payment plans are, reach out to me. So they may give it to you in steps as well. It's okay to get help. So whether it be the first 2 bookings or the first 10 bookings, until you're comfortable, we are there to guide you. And then the next thing that's always really important is ask your client if they've done some research. Many times they've already went out and done the research and they're kind of quizzing you a lot of times like, I wonder if as a travel agent if they can get it cheaper. My favorite question is, do you give me the family discount? Sure, I can tell you I'll give you the family discount. Um, but we don't always get all of the discounts, especially if you only have 1 or 2 nights stay at a hotel. There isn't a lot of wiggle room there, right? We know that if you book air, hotel, and car rental, you usually get your best discount on those packages. But even if we find them a trip at the same price, we're getting commission. They're supporting a small business. If they were to go book through Expedia and something happened, they would have to wait on hold with an 800 number. It would probably take forever. Whereas if they book with us directly, they're just going to call us on their cell phone. We're going to know if a flight's delayed before sometimes they even know. And then we are going to be working on helping them while they're getting dinner. So we provide that personal service, even if we don't necessarily get them a better price. You can also, use sales pitches. If you are going, if they found a price that's $5,000 and you found it at $5,000 as well, you're going to get a commission. Maybe from that commission, you can say, also at the end of the trip, I'm going to get you a $25 Visa gift card or a $50 Visa gift card. You can get your commission. You can grab that $25 or $50 Visa gift card and you can send that to them. It is amazing what people will do to even save $25, $50. You don't have to get it until after they return. Okay. But ask them if they've done that research, because if they're going to send you the research they've done, you probably have a booking that'll take you about 20 minutes or so. You already know which hotel they really like, and you already know what pricing that they can find online. So another thing that you don't want to overthink is, am I getting them the best hotel? You know, you're reading all these reviews. And am I giving them the best trip? Am I bringing them to the best neighborhood? We are our own worst critics. So please don't spend 8 or 10 hours on a quote. And then if they don't book with you, that's even more discouraging because you've spent so much time. Reach out for help. That's kind of one of the things I want to stress the most. Gather their information and reach out for help. We are going to give you ideas which vendor to use. Your team chats, you can say, hey, I have a family of 4. They want an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. Their kids love to play tennis. Chances are somebody in that group has already booked a trip like that, or they have kids that like tennis and they know the resort that is just the best resort to go to and one that they really like. So that's a lot of times how you're going to start gathering the vendors that you like to use. Because I don't know if there's ever really a best vendor. It's more of a preferred vendor. A lot of people, go to VAX. VAX has payment plans. They have package deals. Vacation Express, again, payment plans and package deals. But if you are specializing in Disney, your best vendor is probably going to be Disney. So there are so many different vendors. And I usually use the ideas from people in my chat group, from my team, or other agents that have booked clients to a certain destination, or they've been to that certain destination. So any questions? I did share the link to that template. If you have any questions on a trip that you are working on, I encourage you to go to the Q&As, ask those questions. I even felt it most helpful when I first got started to just listen in on the Q&As. You don't have to have a question to attend them. You can let them know you're just attending in the background. That's a great way to gather information. When I was working full time, I would put my earbuds in. Sometimes your job allows you that, and just listen in on the Q&As. You're going to learn a lot from the questions that other agents have. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then I'm going to open up to questions. So thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you on the future trainings.
Thank you.